morning, beloveds. So it's apparently going to rain for the next 10 days. Yeah, we just had a hurricane and it's going to rain for the next 10 days. And this morning we guessed wrong. It was 80 degrees with feels like of 86. And so we were like, okay, we're going to get on the bike. We heard the thunder, or we saw the lightning, and then we, the thunder and lightning were far enough apart. We were comfortable getting out on the bikes. And so we went for a ride. We had one guy, thankfully his dog was on a leash. Just the dog absolutely lost its mind and was ready to eat us. It was a Dachshund. And then so we turned down a road, and it's a road we haven't been down in a very long time, because it's the road where I got bit by a dog. And we got chased by another dog. Now, this was a Dachshund. And I was able to outdistance it, but my heart rate. You know what? I liked dogs. I love dogs. I had dogs growing up. I will never have a dog. And it's because of irresponsible dog owners who don't train their dogs. And because, in this case, these little dogs, they're like, oh, they're little. They can't. So it's like, you know what? You've ruined it. Like, train your dogs, people. But, we tried to stick close to the house. So we were like, cause it was dripping, but not raining. My husband said, all right, do you want to turn around? I said, well, it's just as far to go the rest of the way as it is to turn around. And then it started to rain. We came home pretty soaked, but it was a good ride outside getting chased by the dog. So like, I am sick of it. Cause yesterday when we were walking, there was a group of 4, it was originally 3 and then 4 dogs. They were on the side of the road, and then we crossed the road, and then they crossed the road, and then we crossed the road back, and then they ran up their cul-de-sac, and then they were all barking at us from the cul-de-sac. And what was scary was, 1, there were 4, and 2, they were all pit bulls. Now, pit bulls are not a problem if they have good owners. And I'm just like, people. And I know that it's right now, a lot of people's fences are down or they're missing fence boards, and that's probably how these dogs got out. Train your dogs. At least the pit bulls stayed away from us, because that would have been a bad situation. Oh, train your dogs. Okay, I'm sorry. Apparently I needed to get that off my chest. This is, yes, I know what I got on here to do, but it is a little bit of a, so I guess I needed to vent. Sorry. If you want to know what I've been up to for the last 4 years, because I always remind you, when you're doing sacred readings, your state of mind is going to influence how you're doing sacred readings. And that's what's on my mind and heart right now. So, and we are in the chapter called Finding the Christ. So probably a good chapter for me to be in today. All right. So we are starting on the bottom of 365. We are in the section called the Indivisible Whole. And we are starting down with this poem. And then we are going to finish the chapter because there's only a few pages left. Okay. And it starts out, holy, holy, holy. Inner presence, great and mighty. Inner light that shines divinely. Inner life that lives completely, inner joy that smiles serenely, inner peace that flows so deeply, inner calm, untroubled, happy, inner love that gives so freely, inner truth that never fails me, inner power that holds security, inner eye that sees so clearly, inner ear that hears spirit always, inner voice that speaks supremely, inner good that binds me to thee. Holy, 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 Lord God within me. We must not look afar to see the Christ, for it is ever near at hand. It is always within us. To the individual, there can never be any power, truth, or life unless they are able to realize or recognize it. Jesus stands alone as a person who knew himself and was cognizant of his relationship to the perfect whole. In the ecstasy of self-realization, he proclaimed the truth to be working through him. Thou art the center and the circumference of my life, the beginningless and endless part of me, the eternal reality of me, the everlasting power within me, the eternal good working through me, the infinite love impelling me, the limitless peace and calm within me, the perfect life living through and in me, the joy of the soul and the light of the Spirit illumining me. O God, Lord, eternal and forever blessed, thou art my whole being. Jesus spent much of his time communing with his own soul, for it is through our inner thought that we contact God. To this remarkable man, out of the silence of his own soul, came a direct revelation of his childship, his oneship with God, back of the conflict of ideas, back of the din of eternal life and action, back in the innermost recesses of uplifted thought and the silent contemplation. There is a voice ever proclaiming, "This is my beloved Son." Seldom does this voice penetrate the outer world of the human experience. Seldom does anyone allow it to perfectly express through them. We must learn to listen for this voice. Call it conscious, call it intuition, or whatever we will, it is there. No person need go unguided through life, for all are divine at the center and all are images of the Most High. This is another poem. Sweet song of the silence, forever singing in my heart. Words cannot express, the tongue cannot tell. Only the heart knows the songs which were never sung, the music which was never written. I have heard that great harmony and felt that great presence. I have listened to the silence, and in the deep places of life, I have stood naked and receptive to thy songs, and they have entered my soul. I am lost in the mighty depths of thy inner calm and peace. As the external Jesus gives way to the divine, the human took on the Christ spirit and became the voice of God to humanity. How wonderfully he did this constitutes the history of Christianity and much of the enlightenment of modern civilization. And yet it would be a grave mistake to suppose that he was different from other men. He was a man who knew himself and his direct relationship to the whole. This was the secret of his success. To think of Jesus as being different from other people is to misunderstand his mission and purpose in life. He was a way shower and proved his way to be a correct one. His method was direct, dynamic, and powerful, yet extremely easy and simple to comprehend. He believed in God in himself as power and reality. Believing in God within, he was compelled to believe in himself. To the illumined, has ever come self-realization and I amness. Who could proclaim themselves to be the way and the truth of life unless they had understood that God indwelled their own soul? The Christ Spirit comes alike, proclaiming itself to the child of God, even unto the humble in spirit. proud of their divinity, yet humble before the greatness of the whole. Jesus spoke from the heights of spiritual perception, proclaiming the deathless reality of the individual life, the continuity of the individual soul, the unity of the universal spirit within all people. This was the Christ speaking, the child begotten of the only Spirit, the child of God. Humble in his humanity, compassionate in his tenderness, understanding the frailties of the human mind, he let the great Spirit speak through him in words of love and sympathy. He proclaimed his divinity through his humanity and taught that all people are siblings. No person ever lived who valued the human soul more than Jesus, for he knew that it was the personification of God. I'm wondering where all these little poems are coming from, because we've got another one. I am. What more can I say? I am. It is enough. Because thou art, I am. From out of the deeps of me, I am. In and around me, I am. Over and through me, I am. O inner being, external and blessed, complete and perfect, birthless and changeless and deathless, I am. I am, and evermore shall be. We're going to take a deep breath after that one. All right. The mystic Christ comes from the bosom of the unseen Spirit, proclaiming the love of God through its own love of humanity. To know God is to love, for without love is no knowledge of God. There is no knowledge of God. As the Christ awakens the divine spark, shot from central fires of the universal flame, is able to warm other souls by the radiance of their own self-unfoldment. We give only what we have. The only shadow we cast is of ourselves. The shadow lengthens as we realize the great presence in which we live, move, and have our being. Who would entertain the Christ must invite it. It does not come unbidden, nor sit at any person's table an unwelcome guest. Neither does the divine presence force itself upon any. It stands at the door and knocks. We must open it if we are to receive. But how can we receive unless we first believe? We must believe that the Christ indwells our own lives and stimulates all our actions, for without it we can do nothing. To realize within oneself a divine presence, a perfect being, is to recognize the Christ. No person ever walks life's road alone. There is ever another who walks with them. This is their inner self, the undying reality, which their personality but poorly emulates. Let us learn to be still and let the truth speak through us, to be still and know that inner life shines. Got another poem. Be still, O soul, and know. Look unto the one and be illumined. Rejoice and be glad, for thy spirit lights the way. Lift up thine eyes and behold spirit, for it is fair to look upon. Listen for its voice, for it will tell thee of marvelous things. Receive it, for in its presence there is peace. Embrace it, for it is thy love. Let it tarry with thee, that thou mayest not be lonely. Take counsel from it, for it is wise. Learn from it, for it knows. Be still in its presence and rejoice in its love evermore. Okay. Last section, and there's another poem in the middle of this. The triumphant Christ is the last section. The Christ knows that its individuality is indestructible, that they are an eternal being, living forever in the bosom of the Spirit. The Christ triumphs over death and the grave, breaking through the tomb of human limitation into the dawn of eternal expansion. The Christ rises from the ashes of human hopes, pointing the way to a greater realization of life. The Christ is always triumphant, is ever a victor, is never defeated, needs no champion. The Christ places its hand in the outstretched hand of the universe and walks unafraid through life. Okay, there's a little poem and then one last final comment from Ernest, and then we are done. So, deep breath. Through the long night watches, God's hand clasps mine. At the break of dawn, God's hand clasps mine. In the daytime of work and endeavor, from eternity to eternity, God's hand clasps mine. When the time shall have passed, when eternities shall be strewn about like falling petals, and space and worlds shall be swallowed up in everlasting blessedness, God's hand will clasp mine. Okay. We are never left without a witness of the eternal. And in our greatest moments, in all those flash-like visions of mystic grandeur, we know that we are made of eternal stuff, fashioned after a divine pattern. Now that sounds like a poem. Ugh. Now the next chapter, ironically, is immortality. But he says in those flash-like visions, and that's the mystic experience. And that's the thing about the mystic experience is, they happen in moments. If we walked into a mystic vision and never walked out, nothing would get done. Nothing would get done. And so that's what mystic visions are. They are flashes. They are moments. They are, snatches of time. And our job is to hold on to those visions, to hold on to those feelings in the normal times. And when we start to lose faith and when we start to lose hope, to pull those visions back out, to pull those feelings back out and go, oh yeah, no, I know this feeling. I've had this feeling. To keep those visions and those feelings burning in the back burner, of our soul, so that they're always there. They're always lit, and we can always pull them back up so that when we're faced with something that we don't know how we're going to get through, we've got that vision. We've got that feeling of that presence that we can go to and say, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know how I'm going to get through this, but I know that you're there. And I know that you'll guide me. Guide me now. That is what the mystic vision is. And that is what it's for. We can't walk around in it all the time. But we can always go back to it. So, I commend to you chapter 22. We are done finding the Christ. And to remember, Christ is within you. Even if you choose to call it something else, Christ is within you. It is that presence. It is that moment. It is that mystic vision. It is that feeling. that it's all going to be okay in the end. So, all right. I am now verklempt, as our Jewish family calls it. 'Cause, there I am. Real person here, having a real moment. Okay, so I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm going to do the basic housekeeping. I'm going to remind you that we are Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spark, and I'm the running Rev Ryan on the social medias. An easy way that you can support the center and me is to go and engage with our social media. So go like, subscribe, follow, share, comment, engage with us. We had an amazing soul session. So if you scroll back a video or two, it'll be a couple of posts because I posted the YouTube link. We had an amazing soul session with an amazing bunch of reverends. And it was really good. So I encourage you all to go and, listen to learn what sacred activism is, because honestly, what I just did, that is sacred activism. The mystic, it's reaching for that mystic vision and holding it and knowing that it's all going to be okay in the end. And then do what you're guided to do to help it be be okay in the end. So, we all have our own path to walk, and sacred activism looks different for everybody. And that was what they talked about. It's like, look, there are lots of ways to do sacred activism. And there's a way for you to do it too. Okay. So, so if you are interested in more information about the center, then there's two ways to do that. The website is creativelife.org, or you can email info@creativelife.org and get on the constant contact. And the constant contact, you get one a week. It's a real person doing it. He doesn't have time for more than that, but he does, but the hot links are hot. If it says click here now, it'll take you right to the information you want or the person that can help you get it. So there's that. Okay. I don't know what I was about to say. So I'm going to encourage you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonderful day, an awesome day, an amazing day, a go dance in the rain day, keep your feet dry day, a stay out of the lightning day, a get your stuff done day, a you got this day, a find the stuff you need quickly day, because that's the kind of day I need to have. Find the stuff I need quickly day. A work together well day, a cuddle your fur babies day, a call a friend day, go hug somebody today, day, good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day. You are enough just as you are. You are a beloved expression of the divine. You are a brilliant light, a divine spark. You are spirit in motion. You are God in action. Or as Reverend Jesse likes to call us, you are a godling. Explore the truth of your being. I can make one promise. It's the only promise I can make, but I can make one promise. The person the divine knows you to be is good. Let everything else go. Because from that point of the divine, anything is possible. All right, beloveds, I am going to move into the process of my day. So I'm going to remind you, Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you. I'll be back with you around 9 a.m. We will start chapter 23 on immortality tomorrow. Take care of yourself. Know that you are loved, and I will see you next time.